Today on Mustang Magazine, lacrosse players are raking in the dough.
Seniors go bowling.
Some furry friends find a better place to live.
And these little red boxes alert us to an emergency.
These stories and more on the second edition of Mustang Magazine. Hello, and welcome to this month's edition of Mustang Magazine, the show that brings you stories about the Norwood community from a teen point of view. I'm Jess Murphy.
And I'm Blake Fitzgerald. We start today's show with a story about the boys lacrosse team. Recently, they held a fundraiser to address the problem of needing new uniforms. Leo Blaze reports.
Many groups and teams at Norwood High School have found themselves strapped for cash this year after the Norwood Public School Committee was forced to cut around $1 million out of the school budget last year.
Our old jerseys are just starting to get really ratty and no one really wants to wear them anymore. So the lacrosse program is relatively new and we were one of the first programs to lose some of our funding.
In need of a decent amount of fundraising, the team felt that the typical approach to fundraising was stale.
The majority of teams in our town choose to do car washes, but you know, after a while they start to be one car wash every weekend and they don't do a particularly good job of washing the cars, so we figured doing something that no team's done before would help us raise more money.
After realizing this, the lacrosse team decided to tackle their problem in a different manner.
We got a bunch of the lacrosse team together to rake leaves and try to raise some money for new jerseys for the lacrosse team.
While this is a great idea on paper, getting the word out is going to be the biggest challenge.
The program is going to work by, placing some flyers around town, putting an ad in the paper, trying to get people to hire the lacrosse team to rake their leaves for $150 per yard.
They're a great bunch of guys, and it's a great cause. It's going to sports, and there's nothing better than that for teenagers. We could have hired a landscaper, but the price is right with the boys, and it's just nice to see kids doing something positive and working towards a goal. They're not working for themselves, they're working for the team.
The lacrosse team's originality paid off, in more ways than one.
It's really benefited me both ways, helping the team and having a nice lawn.
The lacrosse team's initiative to rake in the dough shows that there's more than one way to solve a problem. For Mustang Magazine, I'm Leo Blaze.
Thanks, Leo. That story recently placed first in the nation for the STN Challenge News Story Competition. Congratulations to the crew on their excellent production.
Next up, we hit the bowling lanes to catch up with the League of Senior Players. Brittany Fullen takes us to the Norwood Sports Center for this report.
When the Polaroid company on Upland Road closed back in 2001, the workers wondered what would happen to their bowling league.
And after the company closed, some people just wanted to continue bowling, and then other people joined in. And so it's now kind of a conglomeration of people.
And today the league continues every Tuesday night at 5 p.m. at the Norwood Sports Center. And it's not your typical night of candlestick bowling.
Everybody wants to chit-chat, but we're supposed to be bowling. And we just get going and we have a good time. The best part of the bowling league are the people. They're wonderful. Very nice people.
For some it's a form of exercise, but for others it's just a way to get out of the house and have some fun.
We have some really good bowlers, and I think they compete against each other. Not in an adverse way, but in a fun way. You know, they have fun trying to beat each other.
It's all in fun. We do have first, second, and third place teams that we try to stay up there. We go up, we go down, but we have fun.
But even though these bowlers have a lot of experience, they are quick to point out that they still face some challenges keeping the ball out of the gutter.
Try not to get too frustrated, because at this age you don't get better, you sort of get slower. I had always bowled, and I hadn't done it in many, many years, raising my children, and I got the opportunity to do it after probably 35, 40 years.
And these bowlers are encouraging other people to get out and hit the lanes no matter what their skill level is.
I think that people should get out and enjoy themselves, and if they want to join a bowling league, they should go right ahead and do it.
I think that if anyone has the opportunity, if they just shy away, come in any day you want. You don't have to be in a league and bowl. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Reporting for Mustang Magazine, I'm Brittany Folan.
Thanks, Brittany. Bowling is a great pastime along with many other sports. But imagine being told that you can't participate in your favorite pastime because of your medical condition.
For Nord senior captain Fernando Morales, missing out on soccer to fight a serious illness hasn't been easy. Ryan Stanton reports.
It's a great ball and a great look from the midfielder.
Senior Fernando Morales has been playing soccer his entire life.
You know, there was just something about kicking a ball around that really got to me and made me happy.
As a freshman at Norwood High, Fernando started on the JV team, but that didn't last for long.
I was called up to varsity after about 4 games. And after that, I became a starter and started splitting time with one of the seniors on the team.
In his sophomore year, he made the varsity team and started every game, but something just wasn't right.
I started feeling pain about a month after soccer season ended. There was a pain in my knee, and I went to physical therapy for about 2.5 months for my knee, and my knee wasn't getting better.
It turns out it wasn't Fernando's knee at all, but his pelvis, radiating pain down his leg into his knee. After visiting a specialist, he was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, a rare disease in which cancer cells are found in the bone or in soft tissue.
At first, it was just a tumor, so the thoughts of not being able to play, not being able to do what I have always done, even in life, not just with soccer, going to school, being a normal kid, just kind of all went down the drain.
But after diagnosis, Fernando remained positive.
I always tell people that I never had, like, the typical you have cancer reaction. I just kind of took it and I was like, okay, you know, I'll just do what I needed to do to get better.
And he did look better. Last spring, he was told that he had beaten the cancer. But this fall, some test results came back and changed his life again.
My mom told me. She told me that there was a growth in my tumor. And I cried. I just broke down right away. It was just, I was actually scared for my life for the first few days. But then I just got chemo this past week and the pain in my leg went away. So I'm like, I can't believe I even thought that.
And Fernando isn't fighting cancer alone because he's got a support group of family and friends.
To my friends, Jenny Rossman and Catherine, they went to a bunch of my treatments, and Colleen and Amanda, they visited me in the hospital countless times. So a big thank you to all of them, because in the long run, cancer is more of a mental thing than actually getting medicine, and they help keep me positive.
Fernando's girlfriend, Rebecca, has also been there giving him support and hoping to fill the void left by not playing soccer.
Soccer is a huge part of Fernando's life. Not being able to play has really had an effect on him. He talks about it a lot, and it was really nice that this year they made him the captain of the team, so that way, even though he couldn't play on the field, he was still a big part of the team. It really meant a lot to him.
Jason, more running. Don't give me that look. You know, going to the practices kind of hurts sometimes, you know, watching everyone play. I just miss being out on the field running, playing, just being part of something. It's kind of hard for me to, you know, I'm trying to find something else to fit into, like soccer, but it's just hard to find something that I really was so involved in for so long. So just the whole prospect of playing with the boys and the team, and you know, trying to get better, trying to motivate others and, you know, inspire others.
Rebecca knows what an inspiration Fernando is to the team and is helping support Fernando's cause by raising awareness.
We're also doing fundraising at the school for Fernando. Like, We have the blue shirts with the heart on the left side that has a soccer ball pattern in them. Fernando's cancer is Ewing sarcoma, and the color for that is yellow. So me and his sister have been making yellow ribbons to give to everyone to wear to raise awareness.
We live in a community that's really strong, and I think I was lucky, and so that really helped when I was diagnosed. So everyone's been really supportive. I see them wearing yellow and the yellow ribbons around school. Even if it's just a small thing like wearing a ribbon, it's raising awareness.
If you would like to make a difference and donate, you can go to www.ewingsarcoma.org to help find a cure. From Mustang Magazine, I'm Ryan Stan.
Thanks, Ryan. For more information on how you can make a difference in the fight against cancer, visit the American Cancer Society website at www.cancer.org.
There are a lot of ways to make a difference in a person's life, but it's not always a person who needs help. Up next, we take you to senior Sarah French's house, where she's serving a foster mom for some furry friends. Lauren Harrington brings us the story.
The French family decided a couple months ago to foster dogs.
We wanted to adopt and foster out dogs to other people so we could help the less fortunate animals get a second chance at life.
She and I knew that there was a big need for dogs that needed homes, that needed temporary homes, and to be evaluated before they were placed into a permanent home.
So Sarah and her mom jumped into action and started saving dogs.
Most of them come from very high kill shelters where the dog may have 24 to 48 hours to live. If it's not adopted, it gets put to sleep no matter what its temperament, what breed, what age it is. So a lot of them come from very poor conditions, have been mistreated, and are just looking for a warm bed and a meal every day.
The Frenches received the dogs through a rescue called Big Fluffy Rescue.
Whenever they have a dog that needs to be fostered, we kind of just step in and take the dog and hold it until an adoption family comes around.
Although fostering dogs can be a great experience, some problems do arise.
Considering we have 3 other dogs that live in the house, adding a 4th dog in sometimes just doesn't make a good mix, and sometimes dogs get in fights, but that's why we just have to kind of deal with it.
But it's not always fights. For Sarah, it's letting go.
Sometimes you grow attached to dogs as they've been here for a really long time, and you kind of just feel like you're giving away your dog, but you have to remember that they're going somewhere else and they're going to be happier with their life. We had a dog, Honey, for 3 months. And she was so cute. Oh, she was my baby. Little Honey. She was literally my baby. I love her.
Fostering dogs comes with responsibility.
Well, we have to feed them, walk them, take care of them, treat them like our own dog, and just kind of give them love and attention for as long as they're here.
She enjoys taking the dog over to whatever foster dogs we have, or our resident dogs, over to Adam's farm and walking them, or she'll take them into the Arboretum in Jamaica Plain, and that's a great way to for her to see how they respond out in public with other dogs. She helps socialize them and manages them on a day-to-day basis in the house, which is a huge responsibility.
And once a dog is ready, it's time to begin the adoption process.
My mom reviews applications for the dogs that we have, and if they are not suitable for the dog, we deny them, and if they are suitable for the dog, we go for a home visit.
So if you're considering giving a dog a new home, go to bigfluffydogs.com. From Mustang Magazine, I'm Lauren Harrington.
Chewy. You saw your fans. Ew.
Hey Jess, have you ever seen those red boxes around Nord that look like fire alarms?
Yeah, I have. I've wondered if we still use those. They look really old.
Actually, they are old, like 100 years old, and according to the fire department, they are still in use today. We sent out Lauren Flasco to get the scoop on the red fireboxes. Here's her report.
In the modern age of emergency response, there is only one traditional alerting system, nearly 100 years old.
This device is called a firebox. When you pull this hook right here, an alert will go out to the fire department and they'll know to come here. So if there's a fire and you're not near a phone, all you do is pull this hook and they'll be coming.
Part of the reason that we still have them is we have certain buildings in town that are required by the building code to have them, such as the hospital and nursing homes, hotels. Their purpose was to alert us of a problem.
The fireboxes were first installed in Boston, Massachusetts back in the early 1900s. Before 911 and cell phones, these little red boxes were the primary way of alerting the fire department of emergency.
These boxes are a very simple design. They don't rely on some of the sources that we use now, like electricity. It's a mechanical device. It's a wind-up mechanical device. That number is sent over a line, a phone line, or a fire alarm line, here to the fire station. And we can look up that number, we know where that box is located, and we respond to that location.
Some locations depend on two types of fireboxes that work together.
One we call a street box, one we call a master box. A street box is the box that you go up to and you simply pull the hook. A master box is activated by another device, usually a fire alarm device inside of a building.
But in this day and age, the firebox is becoming more and more irrelevant.
You know, in many communities they're removing the boxes because they say they're too expensive. And we don't need them nowadays because we have cell phones and phone lines, and I don't happen to agree with that.
For the NORD community, the dependability of mechanical fireboxes will remain.
They are simple and they are redundant. When something is simple and redundant, it's reliable. And you know, a cell phone, you may not have access to a cell tower, your phone lines may be down. If you're choking or you don't speak English, you pull that hook, there's a good chance the help's going to be on its way in short order.
So it looks like the fireboxes will keep us safe in NORD for years to come. Reporting from Mustang Magazine, I'm Lauren Plasko.
Thanks, Lauren. That was super interesting. We think you'll find this next story interesting as well.
Recently, we caught up with a former Norwood student who's working on a short film as part of her master's degree at Boston University. Here's Leo Blaze with the story.
Maura Smith is an MFA film candidate at Boston University.
The way the BU graduate program works is that at the end of your first year, you sort of have a first year review, and you're told whether you're going to get a Master's of Fine Arts, so an MFA, or a Master of Science, so the MS.
Maura was selected for an MFA, and for her thesis, writing the screenplay was a challenge.
And this idea, I came up with it, and I sort of said, oh, no, I don't know about it. And then it was funny because Kate, my collaborator, was like, no, that's the one. You got to go back to that one and you got to write it.
The script was called Dear Santa, and after the first draft was finished, she spent nearly a year rewriting.
I mean, and some of the rewrites were bigger and some of them were smaller, but you're constantly sort of tweaking it. And then getting a crew together. I knew that Kate would be my director of photography.
Filling the rest of her production team with people she had met over the years, the next step was casting.
Any director would probably tell you that casting is 90% of your job. If you get that right, a lot of things are going to fall into place very easily for you.
Getting that right was harder than she anticipated, because one of the main characters was very young.
So I started to audition 5-year-olds, not quite having been around 5-year-olds for a while, and they can't read. They can't. So after auditioning some 5-year-olds, I was like, I think she's a little old.
Talk about it later.
Why? We're talking about it now.
Anne Elizabeth.
So I sort of said 7 or 8 would be fine, and I ended up with a girl who was 11 but looked much younger.
After all the roles were cast, Maura had to go out and find the locations for every single scene in the film.
I mean, you call around places and you try to find someone who's going to let you use the space, hopefully for not a lot of money, and that fits what you need for the story, and that has a cinematic quality to it.
After all of the preparation, it was time to shoot this Christmas story in the middle of July.
So I knocked on every door in my parents' neighborhood, and we decorated every house on these 2 streets with Christmas lights and inflatable Christmas things in front.
After the 11 days of shooting, Mara had used up 30 memory cards, which is about 120 hours of footage. This will be edited together to make a short film that will be around half an hour long. From there, she will submit it to as many film festivals as she can.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal, is to get it into as many festivals as you can. And sort of from there, that's how you start to kind of build a reputation and get, hopefully other, people seeing your work and wanting to work with you and things like that.
In January, Mara will travel to Los Angeles to finish her studies and expects the film to be fully completed by May. From Mustang Magazine, I'm Leo Blaze.
Thanks, Leo. There's certainly no shortage of talented students coming out of Norwood High School.
That's right. For this next story, we didn't have to go very far. Here's a feature on current junior Christina Schauer, who's got a major talent for the strings. Tessa McGuire reports.
Christina Schauer started playing the violin in the 3rd grade through the school music program in Norwood.
I really didn't want to. I was already playing recorder and I figured one was enough, but then my mother it'd always been her dream to play violin, so she kind of forced it on me and I ended up really liking it.
What kept her playing was the versatility of the violin.
The violin is really expressive. It's very similar to the human voice, which is the goal of all instruments. It doesn't have any pegs or keys or valves or anything. You really just have to go it by ear, and it's just a really physical movement. Like most instruments, it's usually just in the fingers, but for violin, it's the entire upper half of your body.
She dedicates hours to practice every day after school.
I'll start off with scales and technique stuff. They're called etudes. And afterwards, I'll work on any audition pieces, like for districts or All-State or any college auditions I'm looking forward to. And then afterwards, I'll work on pieces that I do for myself. Hold on.
Currently, Christina is part of the New England Conservatory's Youth Symphony, which is part of their prep program.
I'm a first violinist there, and it's my first year in that orchestra. I've also been in other orchestras in that prep program, and this summer we are touring in London for 10 days, which is exciting.
Christina entered into teaching violin lessons when her sister and little cousin began playing.
Started teaching them, and then I figured I might as well expand my horizons, and I started probably wasn't the smartest thing, but I started on Craigslist, and I increased my student range from there.
Can you set it up for me? Play a G.
The most rewarding things is just sharing music with other people, seeing little kids grow and learn to enjoy music, and they'll have it for the rest of their lives.
For Mustang Magazine, I'm Tessa McGuire.
Thanks, Tessa. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode of Mustang Magazine. If you'd like more information about us or you just want to watch the story again, visit us online at www.nhstv.org or hit us up on Facebook or Twitter.
Thanks for watching. We'll be back with more stories next month. See ya!